Welcome back.
Welcome to You Now Online Live. I'm your host, Moreno. Your co-host is Deborah Reynolds, the founder and president of About Face Image Consulting. Debbie, again, we're pleased you're here with us.
So it's always a delight. We have some really great content today, and we're excited to get started. Tell us about our wonderful guest.
Today, we have a very special guest, Tammy, who has helped me many times with insurance companies and claims. And as Tammy comes on, I want to read her bio to add context to our chat. And then I'll ask her the first question of 4 that we have for her. So let me start with her biography. Tammy has lived in the greater Lower Mainland of Vancouver all her life, working in equities in 1996, and then the Cooperators General Liability Insurance in 2011. In 2013, she moved to Sun Life Financial, where she was able to focus on life and critical illness insurance and mutual funds. In 2018, Tammy went off on her own and created Boljuncic Financial Services, and I probably didn't pronounce that correctly. And she contracted with every company in Canada to find the best solutions for her clients. Tammy shares information and resources with Canadians to enable them to make informed decisions based on their unique needs. She provides clients with advice based on getting to know the client, understanding their needs, and recognizing what risk they are comfortable with. Being honest, open, and authentic about expectations and potential returns ensures Tammy trusting relationships. Let me bring Tammy up, and then we can ask her first question. Hello, Tammy.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're very pleased you're here with us.
No, it's completely mutual.
This is your first question, Tammy. Who do you help and why? In other words, what is their pain?
Well, insurance companies make things as difficult, in terms of their products, the way that they word their contracts, investments. Everything seems to be so difficult for people to understand. And let's be honest, nobody teaches you anything about finance when you're in high school. There isn't like a great knowledge that's shared around investments and insurance and putting protection in place or savings or retirement. It's not very common that we all know what's going on unless you work in the industry itself.
Yes, from my experience, I agree. The insurance industry is so incredibly complicated that individuals like me alone find it difficult to navigate through it. And we do need specialized people like you to help us. And yeah. Deborah, I think you have a second question for her.
I do. What really impressed me about your bio, Tammy, was that you really go out of your way to do the research as to where are the best products and tools to support your clients. And to me, that shows that people really love what it is that they're doing. You love what it is that you're doing. So how do you actually help your clients? What kinds of specific tools and strategies and tactics are you using?
Well, I guess just when I first started out in this business, I realized that I really liked insurance law, contract law, just really knowing those policy wordings. I don't know why, but I got really interested in it and feel quite passionate. And so I went to research all the contracts inside and out. So I knew what the difference was between the insurance companies. A lot of times with investments in insurance, you're not really sure why you should go with who or which company's better, but it's not about being better or worse. It's about that there's a special niche in the market that each company has. And it's knowing what the client's needs are really, what their time horizon is. What are they looking for? What's their unique situation? Because everybody's so different. We have different health issues, different financial ideas of what we want or where we want to be. And so, I think it's really important to be listening to what it is that the client wants, and then to be able to point out gaps where obviously in my situation, I'll be able to see some of those things. So to be able to point them out to the client where they may have not thought of some of these things.
I love what you're sharing there about your interest, your passion about going through the various contracts. Because if you don't know what you're selling, and this is a really great lesson for our audience, if they don't know what it is that they're selling to the customer, particularly when they are not creating the product. So when it's somebody else's product, to know the nuances of where special needs are, how to make that beautiful marriage between the customer needs and the particular product that you have access to is such a great sort of key that we need to be aware of. So I love the fact that you do that. It really shows that you care.
Thank you.
Moreno, do you have another question?
Yes, clarity makes life so much easier. Thanks, Tammy, for doing that.
Yeah.
What distinguishes you from others in your profession, Tammy? In other words, what are your salient strengths and experience that you bring to us?
Yeah, I think there's just something within me that doesn't really like it when people are getting tricked. So I think it can feel tricky sometimes in this industry. Okay, so for instance, I was speaking with a young couple yesterday who said that they don't really need any insurance for their mortgages. They have 3 properties and they don't want insurance because they think they have other assets that should something happen to one of them, that they could just sell off one of the properties and it just wouldn't matter. They don't need to spend money each month on insurance. And I had just said, it's not always just about being able to sell off assets, because maybe it's not a good time in the market too, when you could spend, $25 a month for $500,000 of coverage, which, at the top 5 companies in Canada, you'd receive a check within about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes sooner. And so to have access to cash when things are frozen or locked up, when you're dealing with an estate, can be quite helpful. And it can just make your life easier when there are things going on with CRA. They could be issuing bills for instant, deemed dispositions, which means that they're going to have an instant capital gains tax bill. So those kind of things I feel are tricky. Just all the estate settling, dealing with lawyers and accountants for a final tax return. I think there's just so much in this industry between going through estate planning or settling an estate, and then just picking out simple mutual funds for your portfolio. There's just so much that's complicated. So I don't like people getting tricked, and I like to make things really simple. I like to hear what their needs are and what's really important to them, so I can direct them in the right direction, because sometimes they just don't need to know about 4,500 new funds that are out there.
Yes, I like the fact that listening is so very important in your industry, to make sure that we understand, what the customers want. I mean, me, for example, I have certain insurance needs, and they are not like everyone else. So I appreciate somebody like you coming along and taking the time to understand exactly what my needs are and exactly what I need and how I should proceed, how to navigate, because alone, like I've said before, it is very confusing and we never seem to make any progress on our own.
Well, what I think is interesting is that even even like advertising sometimes, and I know that banks don't mean to make things complicated or tricky. Back to that piece is, but yesterday, I also heard, well, I could put my money in a guaranteed GIC. Why would I use insurance for a long-term savings plan or for any guaranteed income? Why wouldn't I just use a GIC? They're paying me 4.8%. Well, that's the thing. It's not 4.8% for this year. Now, there is a couple banks out there right now who are promising 4.8%, but it's for 19 months. So for almost 2 years, you're getting 2.2. And what's the inflation rate right now? 8%. And, especially when we've had 30 years of 2% year after year of inflation, and now it's suddenly 4 times that amount. What's your return? And you still have to pay tax on that interest at a bank. And anyhow, I don't like that people get tricked. So I really like to explain those nuances of this industry.
There's a lot of detail, and that detail keeps changing. And someone needs to be paying constant attention to keep up to date and let us know how things are changing and what we need to do to benefit and not fall behind. Mm-hmm. Deborah, do you have another question for Tammy?
I do. Tammy, I have to say what I love about your personality, your character, is the integrity that you have, that you're not going to allow people to be tricked because you are so thorough in that process. And that really helps to build that know, like, and trust factor. So tell me what additional pitfalls that your prospects should look out for when they're looking for the type of assistance that you offer.
I think that they should really make sure when they're speaking to their advisor that they felt heard and acknowledged, and that there's some kind of a needs analysis that goes on where the person's taking a full, picture, being thorough about right now what's been going on, what are they looking for in terms of some protection, or what are they worried about, what keeps them up at night, and where do they see themselves 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Like, I think that the advisor should have a really good idea of what their psychology around money is, or security, or budgeting, because sometimes our childhood really impacts how we view budgeting, money, security, safety. And I think that the advisor needs to be a little more aware of what's going on for the person besides just the immediate facts. So I think it's being able to really create that rapport with the client.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And we do have some very relevant comments from and questions from our audience. Estelle was asking, are there penalties moving from one insurance company to another?
It just depends what's going on. For instance, if you have a home insurance contract, there is no penalty. It's really nice that things are legislated and that there's such a great regulatory body in Canada. So when you have something like a home insurance policy, and say you're just not happy there and you want to move your insurance coverage, if you just paid for it last month, you could actually discontinue your coverage and ask to cancel it right now, and they will completely refund, on a prorated basis what you had, and you can just move your contract over somewhere else. You can get coverage at another company.
Wow, great to know. And so one other question from Colette. She says, why do insurance companies make it difficult to claim?
Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy. I think that if you have the right advisor to facilitate that process, I think that's the most important piece. Back to underwriters and claims adjusters want to make sure that they're doing the right thing for the company and for the client. And there's just so much involved with making sure that you are who you say you are, getting the right documents, and then respecting privacy and confidentiality. That piece seems to get into the mix and really create havoc at times. But I guess patience is the key word when it comes to dealing with insurance companies and investment companies.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
We must not forget that Joe, who is an attendee, says hi. Oh. Hi, Joe. Tammy, I want to ask you about your experience here this morning. Can I do that?
Absolutely. Please do.
How was this experience for you? What did you like about this? And how do you think it will benefit you?
Well, I really like this experience, being able to express how I feel about this industry and what I think might be going on, what kind of obstacles people might, find they come across. And I really appreciate your questions. It allows me to talk about what I do and how I do it. And I think it will benefit me because I'll have the right clients attracted to me over and over. They'll know that if sometimes the good news is I always tell the truth, but the bad news is I always tell the truth. So if they don't really want to hear the reality of their situation, then that's I think this will help me and clients in the future moving forward to know where I'm coming from.
Okay, and for those attending, the benefits as a client, a guest on LinkedIn Live, as Tammy is this morning, we get to know you, you get to know us. More people will get to know, like, and trust you. It increases your visibility, exposure, and influence. You get practice presenting online. You address questions live, which is the best way to build trust. The recorded live event stays on LinkedIn. If Tammy wants to refer to this recording at any time in future, she can do so. The recordings can also be downloaded. The content for creating short marketing videos can be easily and quickly created from these live event recordings. And this hands-on experience with live video and short video marketing is invaluable for any business owner. So we're inviting you, be next online. It's easy and quick. Direct message Deborah or me. Do it now. Act. Don't wait.
Yeah, this is such an amazing opportunity. To be able to share your message and for people to be able to have just a little bit of information, and it's a nice, quick, easy way to connect.
Yes, those are the operative words. It's quick and easy, and one can connect to anyone on this planet. If, Tammy, you offered your services to people in other countries, you could be now presenting this to anyone on this planet and provide them with valuable, informative information that they can act on. It's very far-reaching. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for today. I just really appreciate this time.
You're most welcome. Yes, we have now reached the end of today's program, and that was 20 minutes of good know-how insurance insights from you, Tammy. So again, thank you so much for sharing your ideas and experience.
Thank you.
Debbie, we appreciate your participation as always. Thank you. Any last words from you?
Always a pleasure to be here. Tammy, I really appreciated your very specific insights into this industry and sharing where you're coming from a very authentic place. And people need some of those insights. They need to be able to understand an industry which a lot of people are actually afraid of, and they have a lot of concerns about. So you helped to ease our concerns. So thank you, Tammy.
Thank you so much.
To everyone else watching, now live or the recording later, thank you. To your continued success and good health. Goodbye until next LinkedIn Live.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.